I want you to picture your gut like a strainer. A strainer with some small holes that only lets little bits of nutrients through into the bloodstream. So your gut lining is matched up directly with blood, capillaries, veins, things like that, so that nutrients can get from your intestines to your body. That's how we eat. That's important. That's how digestion happens. And sometimes we can have something called leaky gut, where it's like the aluminum foil gets taken out. Our cells, the lining that protects our gut and has a barrier between that and our bloodstream, gets damaged. When that gets damaged, we have way too many food particles, molecules, nutrients getting through the intestines and into the bloodstream where it doesn't belong. There are many factors that can cause this. It could be a history of antibiotics, where maybe you have too much bad bacteria in your gut causing inflammation. It could be you have a food intolerance to something that often causes intolerances. Many people have issues with dairy or gluten or grains, and they have proteins in them that we are maybe unable to break down. And when those proteins pass through our system, some of them sit, like for example, lactose in dairy can sit, and if it's not broken down, it can cause gas and bloating and feed bad bacteria. Or things like gluten has a certain protein that can actually permeate and upregulate certain things in our body that allow the gut to weaken, the gut lining to get thinned out. So all these different things, including stress, lack of sleep, alcohol, lifestyle factors, can all cause our gut to become less than optimal, not as strong as it needs to be. And when those things happen and we're overly inflamed, leaky gut can occur. And leaky gut has a multitude of symptoms that can happen, but it's important to realize that sometimes when our gut is already in a bad spot, it's weak, it's compromised, it's not as strong as it needs to be, perfectly good foods can give us a response. And we can think that something like salmon or blueberries or bananas is causing us to have some type of intolerance or a negative response, whether it's burping or gas or bloating or abdominal pain. And suddenly we think, oh my gosh, I'm allergic to salmon. When in reality, these small particles of food that have been getting out into the bloodstream because of overall inflammation that's going on are causing your immune system to be heightened. And it's on high alert, and it's constantly attacking all these things that are in the bloodstream, which shouldn't be there. This in turn causes our immune system to be a little bit compromised. It's like these little soldiers are out there constantly fighting, and then something big comes and knocks them all out because they're weak. Because on a daily basis, we are doing things or maybe eating things that are harming our gut further. It's like it never catches a break. Inflammation comes in, nutrients leak out. Okay, we eat really good for a couple days, and then we eat something we shouldn't eat again. Or we don't sleep at night, or we go out drinking, and then our gut gets hit again. And we're back to square one. So it never catches a break. And because of that, perfectly good foods can leak out, which then our body will do what? Attack them. And then we get this immune response, or we think that we maybe have an allergy. But it's important to know that an allergy is something that is innate, something you're born with. I'm allergic to mold, or maybe grass, or a tree, or a plant, or bees. And when you come in contact with that thing, there's an automatic response, like anaphylactic shock or something crazy. And that response happens right away. You can test allergies, with a skin prick. And right there on the skin, you will get an antibody response. While an intolerance is a delayed response. Maybe there's some indigestion later. Maybe there's some bloating, maybe some burping, maybe a rash, shows up an hour later, 2 hours later, a day later. It takes some time for the body to respond to that thing because it's not an allergy, which is immediate. Instead, it's just an intolerance. We don't tolerate that thing well, and therefore our body has a response to it, trying to get rid of it, get it out of the body or away from the body. So it's important to know that you don't necessarily have a food intolerance if you have negative reactions to foods that you're eating. It could be that you have leaky gut syndrome and you need to clean up some inflammation in your body, allow your gut to heal, back off foods that may be causing that inflammation, and then those good foods your body can fully absorb and you'll have no negative reactions to those because the overall inflammation in your body was lowered. So just know that if you're having gut issues or you're experiencing these types of things, there are steps that you can take to try to heal the gut and allow it time to recover while you slowly reintroduce foods and see if you really have a negative response to them.